ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Three, two, one.
1.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Brigade podcast, episode
What's up?
5. I'm Ken, and my co-host, as always, is here, Emily.
Hey.
And today we'll be talking about Broadchurch season 2, episode 5. So
Yeah.
So before we go into what we thought about this week's episode, I did bring out some things for news. I only really read the headline for this, but there were some stories going around about or rumors about alternate endings being filmed. Did you see that?
I did not. What types of alternate endings are we talking about? Do you know? Or
No, but
Oh.
that just kind of makes me feel safe and secure in knowing that they won't we won't be spoiled by anything.
Yeah, and also if there's a secret worth guarding at the end.
Yeah, but the actor who was playing Joe Miller was talking about how he had to wear a hoodie and a wig and all.
Yeah.
He disguised himself from what makes me feel really great that they're protecting the secrets. So
Yeah.
this week marked the date where we're officially 1 month away from Broadchurch airing in America officially.
Right.
So I expect, I guess, in March, perhaps a swelling, a rebirth of Sea Brigade downloads.
I hope so. That'd be fun.
Which, oh my god, I have to say, February has been a crazy month so far.
Really?
So right now, it's February 5th, and we have 120 downloads.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's, okay, so there are a lot of people still downloading the old ones, but each week we're just hitting higher download numbers. So
Might I say that the Sea Brigade is hitting a higher crest?
Good night, folks. That's been the Sea Brigade podcast. Alec did it, and
And he and Ellie get married.
Oh, something weird happened where they released a bonus scene on YouTube.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Wait, the bonus scene?
With Judge Sonia
I tried
Sharman?
to watch it and I didn't succeed.
Okay. Well, I won't say what's in it, so you can go watch it for yourself. But it's kind of, I don't know, it was kind of weird that they had this little bonus snippet. I don't know. It makes me really excited to one day own the series on Blu-ray because deleted scenes and stuff like that. Blooper reels? Oh my god! There's a blooper reel. But
yeah.
And this last piece of news, which will be interesting. You should hold on to your seats. The Skoda Superb 2016 was unveiled, some mock-ups, and I saw that Skodas have built-in umbrellas into the door. They have umbrella holders, and they come with little Skoda umbrellas that you could use to pop up in the rain, which makes the ads make perfect sense because they're always
in the rain.
Yeah, they're in the rain, and people come out with their umbrellas. And
plot twist.
Take a break from the drama. So I was like, oh my god. Oh, there were also, I don't know, weird tidings. I think the pictures were coming out of an Australian website because the steering wheel was on the left side of the vehicle. And I'm like, that's not right. Right.
No, I mean, they are Czech cars, so
Czech?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe do they? I don't know how cars work. Are the ones that they send to the UK? Do they have the steering wheel on the left too? That can't be possible.
No, I imagine they make a right steering wheel model. But I just recalled I was into a game for a while called Euro Truck Simulator, and I selected my starting city as Southampton, and I got in my truck, the wheels on the left side of the vehicle. No, the wheels on the right side of the vehicle. And I'm like, okay, I can handle this. And I got onto the street and immediately wasn't driving on the wrong side of the road. And I was like, and I got really used to driving on the right side of the road, or whatever. I got used to driving on the correct side of the road. And then I took a ferry over to France, and it's changed all over again. So now my steering wheel was on the right side of the road, but then I was driving on an American road, and it was totally screwing with me.
Yeah, well, when I went to London, on most streets, there's like in white paint on the road, they have painted like, traffic this way, and like it's an arrow pointing of which way like cars are going to be coming
Hmm.
for people like us, I guess, who have no idea, like to prevent the deaths of many an idiot American.
And yeah, that that was fun. It was a slow news week, so I was just like, let's see what Skoda's up to, since they seem to be shoving the most amount of money
Let's
towards.
check out our friend Skoda.
Yeah. But yeah, that was really it for news. So if we want to just dive right into episode 5, if we can.
Sounds good.
Okay, so this episode starts with Lucy setting up a meet with Tom and Ellie, and it does not go well.
No.
And I noticed that Ellie asked the question last week that Daisy Hardy dislikes so much.
Oh yeah,
how's
I like
school
noticed that
going?
too.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think the writers might have probably intentionally done that, right?
Yeah,
So it's
probably.
like Ellie and Alec are both. I know they love their children, but at this point they've become disconnected from them because of the cases they work.
Yeah.
And we
Although
get
there's still Fred,
there's still Fred.
who we'll get to later.
So Tom believes his dad. That was something I was like speculating about last week, I guess. But
Yeah.
he comes in saying that like, Mom, you've got it wrong, and it's just like, you're not a detective. Get out of here, Tom. But
Right.
it's really sad.
It's so sad. And poor Ellie, like he's even like to her, he's like, "Oh, you're not gonna cry, are you?" And she's like, "No, of course not." Like as she's crying, I felt so bad.
Yeah, Tom's really cold-hearted.
Tom's growing into that, horrible teen phase.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It could just be a teenager thing, but I was like,
Well, it's also like teenager whose dad is a murder suspect phase.
I missed that phase.
Me too, thankfully.
I really loved the line, "I love you even more than chocolate."
Than chocolate, yeah.
Like I heard that and it like broke my heart because it's just so.
Me too.
So
it's
genuine.
so Ellie. It's so Ellie.
Mm-hmm. They go from there to Alec and Ellie interviewing Tiffany Evans, the bridesmaid from the Sandbrook wedding.
Oh yes.
And they jump right to it. Ricky tried to have sex with her and either get her to get really drunk, get her drugged up, but to no avail.
Mm-hmm.
And something that popped up for me, because as a recurring theme on the show is our confusion about the Sandbrook Broadchurch timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And the wedding in Sandbrook where the girls were murdered was in April 2012.
Yes.
And Broadchurch was in 2013.
Yeah.
So it's been really, this whole time, it's always been like, how long ago did Sandbrook happen? It's really hard to push this piece of stuff together. I think we might be in 2014.
I think so. It's got to be like 2 years, I want to say now. Because you figure it's been like, I mean, Beth had the baby, so it's been like 9 months since Danny was murdered, so that's almost a year. Okay.
So Alec and Ellie are talking, and they're theorizing that Ricky may have tried to drug Tiffany, and Ellie specifically thinks or like theorizes how all four of the Gillespies and the Ashworths might have been into club drugs.
Yeah.
And my new theory this episode is that if Alec and Ellie discuss a theory, it becomes void.
Yeah.
And that happens many a time this episode, but we'll retain the chronological order with what happens. So we return to court, and Susan Wright is just a disaster.
Yeah, she is not good.
In like the most amazing ways, though.
Yeah, I mean, like, Susan is not a good person, but I really enjoy her character.
The police get it wrong all the time. Just a fact.
Just stating the facts here.
Yeah, so she's insulting the police. She's insulting journalists. She's turning into a huge mistake for the defense because she didn't report the body. She collected or stole evidence.
Yeah, smoked the cigarettes. And
threatened Maggie.
Well, yeah, I like that piece of info came back for this season, because that kind of didn't really so much go anywhere last season.
Yeah, well, and if anything, I don't know, my hope might be that, like, for the people of the town watching this trial happen, they're like, oh, yeah, Susan Wright is gross. Like, if they had
Yeah.
their suspicions, now they know.
I mean, she doesn't live there anymore, so there's really not much to, you know, get on her about. But yeah.
I mean, she does have that caravan.
Yeah,
She won't have it for
that's
long,
true.
though.
That's true.
I made a really dark joke there, but...
And I was
Oh,
just kind of like, yeah, you're right.
yeah. So Jocelyn does an alright job discrediting Susan, but I couldn't help but think that it wasn't really anything that Sharon wouldn't have done. Just this kind of, why should anyone believe you? Isn't it true that everything you've said was a lie? It's odd, because, I mean, Jocelyn does an alright job, but it's the exact type of thing Sharon would have done. You know?
Maybe
Well, Sharon...
maybe what
Yeah.
Sharon's doing is what Jocelyn would have done.
Mm,
Maybe she learned it from Jocelyn.
yeah. They both use that character attack, that ad hominem, like, you're
Hmm.
a liar. Why should anyone believe you? Which is just
Hmm.
it's kind of like a watery question.
Yeah, yeah. Although, I mean, maybe they both realize that maybe they think the jury's stupid and like that the jury will be into that kind of thing, like
Yes, I'm,
character attacks.
I'm one of the things I'm actually kind of surprised is that we don't hear the jury ever, right?
I like that though. I feel like it'd be like cheesy to be like, jury murmuring. Like I
Well,
kind of like that we have no idea how the jury feels about this.
yeah, the jury is just kind of like a faceless thing, even.
Hmm.
But we cut from that court scene to this really silent, beautifully shot scene where Jocelyn is just smoking and lights a cigarette for
Yeah,
Sharon.
yeah.
And the only thing she says is chin up,
Chin up, yeah.
which really, you know she's thinking about the whole boxing metaphor.
Hmm.
But very beautiful scene. And a lot of really good shots this episode.
Yeah.
That's something that it's hard to put into the show notes. Like, this scene looked really good because it's
Yeah.
only meaningful if you go and watch the show. But
Right.
so Susan and Ellie then share some hostile words in the court, and Ellie seems really doubtful that her innocence will ever be believed by anyone.
Hmm.
Though, I don't know, because we got a shot of the Latimers, and I feel like the way Mark and Chloe have been, that there are people who are, they believe Ellie, but it's just unfortunate for her sake that she, even if people do believe her, she doesn't feel that, she feels isolated
Yeah.
in the town.
Hmm.
So they go to visit Claire to get her new story about the Rohypnol.
Yeah.
And you can tell Alec is just so obviously tired of hearing these new versions of what happened in Sandbrook.
Yeah, he is 101% done with her shit.
Yeah. What do you think about Claire right now?
Um, I don't know what I think about Claire honestly because I feel like she changes. I mean, I don't know if I feel like she changes, but maybe she hasn't changed because she's consistently inconsistent.
Mm. Because there's moments where, like, she looks really afraid and, like, traumatized.
Yeah, I don't trust her.
And there are moments where she has lots of agency, it seems like. So,
I don't trust her personally.
uh, in an interview Eve Mylers was doing with ITV, one
Hmm.
of the things she said after this episode was, "You probably should have changed your minds about my character like 100 times by now," or something to that effect. And she said, "That's exactly what I intended."
Yeah, good on her.
Yeah. So Claire denies knowing whose phone number is in her phone,
Hmm.
and it's one of the weird things for us as the viewer, because we have the knowledge that it's Ricky's phone number, but Alec and Ellie don't.
Right, and I feel like that's one of the few things that we have in this series have ever known that they haven't.
Yeah, well, this case is super different from Sandbrook in some ways, because we're getting flashbacks, we're getting these
Yeah, that's actually true.
omnipresent camera shots,
That's
and
true.
almost everything we saw happen in Broadchurch was discovered by the police eventually.
That's true. Like we get, I mean, not to jump too far ahead, but we get, Lee's flashback, we get Ricky's flashback,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously Alec and Ellie do not know at this time.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I was thinking about, like, one of the few moments, like Jack Marshall burning the photographs,
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that's important for Alec and Ellie to know, but we get these character insights
Right.
as the watcher, but now we're getting evidence as the watcher, and it's weird, but really exciting and fun because we're trying to think of ways. How are they going to find out that this is Ricky's
Mm-hmm.
number?
Yeah.
So what happens next is Paul sets up a meet between Beth and some sex offenders that
Yeah.
will go flawlessly. I'm
I
sure.
don't I don't know why Paul and Maggie seem to think that this is like gonna be good. Like how could they possibly think like, oh yeah, like she'll be fine.
Yeah, they could choose. One of the things I was thinking that seems so perfect that I actually wonder if they'll go this route. Tell me if this sounds a little bit cheesy, but I'm like, okay, Danny liked the skateboard. How about you
Mm-hmm.
guys like fund the skateboard park or something? Like, you don't have to go this really dark route or something like that. But
Yeah. I mean, call me naive, but I thought that Beth's original idea was like really cute. Like,
yeah,
help teens like, talk about, what they're going through and that kind of thing and give them like mentors who aren't like creepy.
and Paul and Maggie were just like, yeah, someone's doing that.
Yeah, like that was like that seemed very much like something that like Karen and Ollie would have like even Karen does say it last season when she's like, Danny doesn't really fit the profile. Like a 5-year-old blonde girl, like all over the news. Danny, not so much.
You're right. Yeah.
So I feel like that was really like inconsiderate of her feelings. Like maybe the charity wouldn't have gone national, but I mean regional maybe. I don't know. It would have given her something to do at least, like something to focus her time on and make her feel like she's making progress towards something.
Okay, so this discussion is really important because, like, what happened? Like, she brings up the whole idea of like the Downey Foundation. Beth brings this idea to Mark, and Mark's like, "I don't know why you have to do this.
Hmm.
You're picking us. We can move on, take care of our child." And the thing is, Mark doesn't realize that he's taking on his own grieving project, which is his own daughter, in like an unfortunate
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, like you said, he doesn't realize it.
yeah, he's grieving, and like his Danny Foundation is like the I'm going to raise Elizabeth so well that it's going to make up for my last parenting failure, which isn't how it works.
Yeah.
And if Lizzie grows up anything like Chloe, he's going to screw up again by like, because if you remember season 1 how Mark was just insistent on her living like a Puritan sex life, like you're too
But
young to
I
be
mean,
with
I
anybody.
think they accepted Dean, the boyfriend, after a while. I mean, he was actually pretty. Like they had their original argument about it, like in the one episode where he sees her and then he confronts her and she's like, "Listen, you really can't say anything to me because I'm the same age Mom was and he's the
Yes.
same age you were." And so after that, I mean, he's pretty like cool with it. And like when they see what he builds her like that, little happy room in like the barn or whatever he lives, like, and then he comes over for dinner. Like I think they're accepting of him.
Where has Dean gone?
I don't know. Maybe he, maybe he was filming Game of Thrones. I don't know.
Oh my god, wait, is he Grey Worm?
He's Grey Worm, yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice him without his unfortunate, like, eunuch outfit on.
Yeah.
Uh, well,
I mean, Chloe hasn't been around much this season either.
yeah, I heard some talk about that. Like, Chloe Latimer was last seen holding Elizabeth in a courtroom, and
Hmm.
that was about it.
Yeah. I wish we saw more of her. I
Or
think she's actually a pretty interesting character.
the more time, well, the more cluttered an episode is with plot points, the less time there is for human like development,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So let's see. So next is just Sharon and Abby teaming up against Paul to coerce him into testifying for Joe.
Yeah, that was kind of gross.
Yeah, this is if you want to be picky about the way the actual law works. A barrister subtly blackmailing somebody into talking is it's a little bit over the line, but it's a really frustrating scene just because Sharon is like successfully guilting Paul into giving evidence, I think.
I don't know if he'll do it.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he'll do it either, but a part of me hopes that Paul will go to court, but just to screw with Joe. Just to like go and say how unrepentant he is in his court scene. And like because he's visited him
Yeah. I feel like he's
in
afraid to
court.
admit that he's visited him, though. I mean, especially because of his friendship with Beth.
Yeah, I get it's difficult, but it's kind of in his job description.
It's true.
So
It's true, but I feel like Beth would not take that well. Nor would Mark. I mean, although Mark hates him already.
yeah, yeah, Beth is not a very forgiving person.
No, I don't think I would blame her so much for like being
Not
weirded out by that.
yeah, yeah. No, a lot of people are way too hard on Beth in
Yeah,
particular. Which is,
yeah,
I'm actually really glad that the Broadchurch subreddit has like a Beth defense force.
yeah.
Because every time someone writes in a comment like, "I like this episode, but Beth sucks," like it gets like,
It's like, come on, do you want her to be like Mark Latimer and like try to like completely forget that Danny existed? You know, like that's not healthy either.
yeah. So like they downvote like the Beth things into oblivion, and it's kind of great.
Yeah.
And we see the very first of Paul and Becca since the series premiere, and
Oh, Becca hadn't been in it since the premiere.
well, she's been in
Not
it.
that I cared,
No,
but oh, although she does like shut off the water in the hotel and the Wi-Fi.
no, I just meant that Paul and Becca were first seen together
Oh,
since the series premiere,
gotcha.
and it's a really weak scene
Yeah, that wasn't good.
because I saw something where to the effect of Becca said, "I feel like you've just pulled me into this," and someone in the comment section on the Broadchurch subreddit was just like, "Yeah, you kind of pulled yourself into this when you had sex with the father of the kid who got murdered. Sorry."
Yeah, on the night he got murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I saw that too, and I liked that. I feel like that was a scene to remind us that Becca Fisher existed, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I so much care that Becca Fisher exists.
yeah, there are characters who could have gone the route of Steve Connolly and just poof.
Although maybe I feel like Becca is like somewhat important because maybe she will come back next week because I feel like we're gearing up to a Mark testimony, and she's got to be part of a Mark testimony.
Yes, yeah.
So okay, maybe that wasn't so stupid actually. I mean, not that we've forgotten that she exists, but
Well, Becca doesn't
a
need
subtle
to.
reminder.
She doesn't need to exist within the confines of a relationship with Paul, which is weird, you know.
Well, I mean, they were kind of hinting at it last series, even, so it's not like it's out of the blue.
Yeah, I mean, Paul was always hanging out at the inn for some reason. So, anyway, so we go next to the Jocelyn's house, and Ben basically gives up on reading documents for Jocelyn, and it's about time. The whole time I was just thinking, man, this isn't in your job description.
Yeah.
The way he says, it's kind of like a tense scene because he's so angry, but he's like, "I'm going home to see my family,"
Yeah.
and he says it like it's been ages.
I know. It's so sad.
But so Maggie shows up and teases Jocelyn like, "Oh, you haven't told him," and it's the type of thing where I haven't been thinking about this for a while, but their nature of their friendship is still interesting to me.
Yeah, still like undefined.
Yeah, so I actually have something where I'm going to return to that later,
Okay.
but
Is that in the will scene?
yeah,
Okay.
good on.
Uh-huh.
So next, okay. This scene confused me so much. Okay, so we're at some carnival.
Ah! I love that scene.
Like bumper cars, Hardy, and I was just like, when did you guys decide to go to the? Is this related to Sandbrook?
I loved that scene.
And then they reveal this happens behind the Sea Hut.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, they didn't mention that to Alec when he bought the Sea Hut. Like, oh, Fred, we can go on the teacups. We could take Uncle Alec.
Oh, I died.
Mm-hmm.
That was hysterical. Ellie was on point this episode.
Yeah. Oh my god. This might be the most fun Olivia Colman's probably had this whole show.
Oh my gosh, she was probably like so happy when she got this script. Like, yes, I get to be funny.
Mm-hmm. So then Ricky shows up to the party, and
Holla.
and Ellie decides to take an interview with him. And also, this is where we get the English word of the week.
Yeah.
Ricky calls the Sea Hut a gaff. Like, oh, is this your gaff? And I was like,
Wait.
yeah. Well, okay. It was in the script. It's not like something I heard. It wasn't very important. And I've only heard gaff referred to as a mistake that like a politician makes. You know.
Yeah.
But it's like a word for like a flat apartment, a house.
Is it actually?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I
had no idea.
I had to scroll to like the bottom of like Merriam-Webster's words for like definitions for gaff, but it was in there.
All right.
So during the interview, well, actually, I guess right before the interview happens, we get some flashback scene where Lee, Pippa, and the girls, or like, Lee, the girls, and Rick are like playing hide and seek or something.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, you can't hide from me, mate." Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It was creepy.
Okay, so tell me this doesn't make it creepier that the even the youngest person there is a little bit too young to be playing hide and seek, right?
Me a little bit too old.
Too old, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, precisely.
So does that? Oh,
It,
yeah,
it's creepy all around. It's creepy. Like Pippa was 12, I think.
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's too old. Like, could you imagine like Tom Miller playing hide and seek? Like, I don't think so.
So I don't know. Maybe they're all on drugs or something. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, Sandbrook is creepy.
Yeah, creepy town. We'll,
Creepy town.
we'll get to that farm statue later too.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. So we learned that Pippa was sporty, competitive,
Hmm.
played netball. Do you know what netball is?
Um, Basketball?
Yeah, that's close.
Hey!
It's like basketball without a backboard.
Yeah,
So it's just kind of like a pole with a hoop on it.
yeah.
And Pippa was likely inspired by Claire to become a hairdresser.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really, at this point, everyone in the Gillespie family and everyone in the Ashworth family was apparently best friends,
Slash,
fuck buddies.
yes.
So Lisa, we also learned that Lisa was using her mother's surname, Newberry,
Hmm.
which is important because I thought that Lisa was related because the mothers, but they're related because the fathers are both Gillespies.
Yeah, well,
Which
when
Lee mentions that, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was something that I missed, I guess. I just thought that Ricky had a brother that was suspicious, but you caught that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd kind of forgotten it, but now it's been clarified.
Yeah. And we at some point we have to learn the other Gillespie because...
Yeah, and soon, I would say.
Mhm.
We only have 3 episodes left, which is crazy.
Oh my god. And Ricky is totally not cool with being asked if he fancied his niece. So
No. Well, I feel like most people wouldn't be cool with that question.
no. Yeah, no. But in this case, maybe it's particularly important just because, his reaction to that question is important to how we, I don't know, if we're like going to measure the temperature of Ricky Gillespie on creepiness levels. So what happens next is that Ellie goes like full throttle. Like she starts making a list of suspects.
Yeah,
And
she reminds
she's-
me of Molly from Fargo when she does that, because like Molly makes like the big wall of evidence, and
Yeah, and she needs Alex Wall to, put up evidence.
yeah, they're roommates now.
Yeah, and Ellie is and she's super determined to solve Sandbrook, and it's really intense. And meanwhile, Alec remembers Fred's name for the first time.
Yes. Ha.
Which I think Alec is starting to care more about Ellie
Yeah, there's like a
being
little
dragged into this.
Yeah, there's like isn't there like a little scene like one where like they're like walking across the beach and he's like pushing the pram? Like it's cute.
So we kind of have a montage of sorts where Ellie is organizing Sandbrook case information, and Alec is just nearly dying, and he almost drowns in like a little puddle that wakes him up, and then it convinces him to go get Jocelyn to write a will, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Alec is asking Jocelyn if she has any kids, if she ever married, and Jocelyn says she missed the person she was supposed to be with, not the man she was supposed to be with.
Yeah, which I thought was like, yeah.
Key,
Yeah.
because Alec's like, did you ever tell him?
Yeah.
Like Alec is very assuming.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm totally not willing to rule out the potential Jocelyn crush on Maggie, maybe.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of rad. Like, I'd like that.
Yeah, because I don't know how many old couples, like old gay couples, ever show up on television.
There was one in that Doctor Who episode with like the eternal gridlock.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
I need to rewatch that.
I only remember
I can't
I watched
remember
it, like, a
much
couple weeks
outside
ago.
of the cat people.
Yeah, outside of the human cat relationship.
the Khajiit or something. Yeah.
in which the woman gave birth to kittens.
So Alec returns to the sea hut, and we see that Ellie has gone
Yes,
crackers.
yes. I laughed so hard.
Yeah. She's like, oh my god, I found this vehicle check form for Thorpe Agri Services that has the names of Gary Thorpe and Lee Ashworth on it. And Alec's just like, I need some tea.
She's like, JK, I drank it all.
And ate all the bread.
That like smile that she gives is like the best.
You need some tea. Yeah, I had no idea how much Ellie Miller was just rust coal and hiding this whole time. like Marty.
I guess. I mean, no.
She's not gonna turn all nihilistic or anything like that. But
Time is a flat circle.
you don't get it, Tom. You just don't. But so Ellie also goes through Lee Ashworth, his investigation, and she determines that it's all garbage, like a distraction. Which I trust Ellie, but I also wonder if it wasn't too quick. She thinks that Lee's trying to get them off their trail, but I'm not sure that Lee Ashworth was going to spend all that time doing that.
I don't know. I see you seem to have a lot of faith in Lee. I don't know that I do. I don't know that I have faith of any. I think everyone involved in Sandbrook is guilty in some capacity, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I feel like maybe maybe it's just swarmy looks, and I have the same weakness that Claire does, but
I don't have it.
Yeah, for some reason I was like, okay, if Ellie thinks it's garbage, okay. But Ellie, after looking at all this, is like, how's this for a theory? Lisa accidentally kills Pippa, and she panics and she runs away. But she's still alive and she's still out there.
It's like they anticipated the fan theories.
Which means that this theory is dead.
Yeah.
It's not that they're bad ideas at all.
No.
Because if they come up with them and the fans come up with them, they're good ideas. Mm-hmm. But now that they've been voiced and they're out there, there's no way that's how it's going to end. You know?
I mean, I'm sure, and then we'll talk about this more at the end, but I, for one, would actually really like it if, it would be terrible if she's dead, but I would kind of, from a, show writing standpoint, I'd kind of really like it if Lisa was actually dead, because, immediately in the first episode, when he was like, oh, Lisa, she's still missing, everyone was like, well, yeah, she's alive, and I'd kind of like it if she wasn't. Subvert that expectation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. When you have viewers like this who are dedicated to trying to, see past the writer's tricks, it would be really cool if it was like, nah, we told you, Alec was convinced they're both dead.
Yeah, it's like the Celebrity Apprentice when people try to outfox Donald Trump in the boardroom, and he's just like, no, you're fired, and then they get fired. It's exactly like that.
Exactly.
It's exactly like that.
So, okay, I really didn't expect to like this scene so much, but what happens next, dear listener, is that Nigel tells the whole truth, peasant poaching included, in his alibi. And I'm just like, I could kiss you, Nige. How are you the only one who's telling the truth in the box, Yeah,
I mean, that is pretty impressive that Nige is the only one who told the truth.
I wonder if he's just so numb in the head that he didn't think to lie about poaching pheasants. Or does it take an intelligent person to be like, where were you? Well, I stole gasoline and poached... No, he didn't steal the gasoline. He just poached the pheasants.
He did steal gasoline. He cut wire and stole gasoline. That was the original case that Hardy was investigating in Series 1, Episode 1.
I really hope that, yeah.
But
I'm sure he included that. He's including his pheasant pouching, maybe he's including the gasoline theft.
Yeah, well, see,
too,
I think you have a point that Nige isn't bright enough to lie unless he's, been told to lie, and then it's just a terrible lie. Like when Mark tells him to lie, and it's just terrible. But, I think that Nige and the lady from Cardiff who worked with Joe are the only two people who've told the truth. And Ellie and Alec. But
so it's unfortunate because I actually really like the route Nige was going, but then he kind of jumped to conclusions about, if I killed the boy, where's my DNA? And Sharon kind of gets him in this, this trap of, I wasn't suggesting you killed him. I was only suggesting you dumped the body.
Yeah.
Then Sharon kind of gets a note slipped to her, and she runs off. And her son Jonah was severely beaten in prison.
Yeah.
And asks why she can't get him out.
I feel like I'm supposed to care, and I don't.
I feel like it's hard to without knowing Jonah's situation. Like, we know that Sharon's a mother and this is hurting her.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I feel for her in the fact, I mean, like, it's got to be a horrible, horrible situation. I can't imagine a child being in prison, regardless of what he did. But again, we don't know what he did, and I don't know.
In the way she handles this later in the episode, Sharon is a gray character morally.
Yeah.
Certainly. So we go from one severe beating to another because, Lee calls up Alec as just like, yay, hey, Alec, just letting you know, Ricky's going to beat the shit out of me. See you later. Bye.
Quick, call Uber.
Yeah, so the world's coolest cab driver just takes Alec to a farm. Which, wait a second, I guess Alec has met him at that farm before, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Right?
yeah, they have.
Okay.
That's where they drive him when Lee files...
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob the police officer drags him there to make an apology.
Yeah, to kiss and make up.
Yeah.
And Tumblr would explode.
Mm-hmm. Ricky obviously throwing lots of punches, and the last thing he says to Lee before leaving is he just says, "You're nothing."
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, okay. Like you said, obviously I have some weird, like,
Yeah, you have some really pro-Lee tendencies, and I really don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Team Lee.
Team Lee.
Okay, my gut feeling is that Ricky didn't beat up Lee because he thinks Lee killed his children.
Yeah, but I also don't necessarily think that Lee had nothing to do with the killing of his children.
Right.
I mean, I don't think Lee killed the children. I mean, we know now that Lee was having an affair with Kate, but we also know that Ricky was having an affair with Claire. So, I mean, it went both ways. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's weird and it's messy, and I can't really draw any conclusions, but I will say that I trust no one.
But, okay, we do have a part of the mystery solved. Lee's doing farm construction for a place to stay. For a long time, I was wondering why he was building fences and stuff like that. I was wondering if it was fixing up his own property, but he's just kind of renting farm places.
The mystery we've all been waiting to have solved.
Yeah. Right?
Only you, again, you and Lee.
So Lee admits that he and Claire used roofies and they got them from Ricky. And Ricky got them from Amsterdam, which seems perfect. You know?
Hey.
Yeah, so that just opens up the door for all sorts of... Because, like, Alec's not asking about all the other stuff that they might have gotten from Amsterdam, right?
Series 3 is an investigation of the drug trade between England and Amsterdam.
So... Lee pretends to know nothing about Thorpe Agri-Services and lies about not sleeping with Kate.
Yeah.
But it's hard to measure those things. Like, for Alec, I'm sure Alec's not taking Lee on his word. So.
Oh, no. I feel like with a guy like Alec and how much he hates Lee, he's probably just like, yep, that means he did.
Whatever Lee says, believe the opposite.
Yeah.
So
it's like in Memento when it's like, isn't it?
Wait, I've never seen Memento.
Oh, really? You've never seen Memento?
No.
Oh, well, whatever. I don't know if any of our listeners have seen Memento. I'm pretty sure there's like one of his tattoos is like, don't believe his lies. Like, and Alec would have that tattoo. It would be funny if you had seen it.
Okay. I thought you were going to spoil something, but
no,
all right.
I'm not going to spoil. I can't believe you've never seen a Memento, though. Wow. Anyway.
It was, you know what? Okay, what's probably stopped me from seeing Memento is the kids who were in film class in high school all loved Memento.
Oh, really?
Like, way too much.
Oh, I'd never... Actually, you know what's really funny? I mean, we're really going to end up cutting this out because no one cares about this. But,
No, I think we can keep some tangents in. All right, so tangent over. What happens next? Okay, save me notes. Okay. What I have written down next is that Mark and Jocelyn meet up. Mark shows some ounce of intelligence, knowing that he's being framed as the killer, and he seems ready to do what's necessary and swallow his pride for Danny and give the details of the affair
Yeah,
in whole.
and that seemed like mature for Mark, like, like,
Yeah.
and like intelligent, and that like, or not initially intelligent, but like I guess intelligent, and that like he knows what's coming, like it's not a surprise, and he's like, yeah, I have to do it, and do it for Danny.
Yeah, so it's not like Mark can't do the right thing at times. It's just, at all times, I'm doubting that he's going to do the right thing for the right reasons.
Yeah,
I guess that's the thing. Mark can do the right thing a lot of the times, but his reasons for are always muddy to me.
yes,
So
agreed.
after that, Beth visits the sex offenders, and
Yeah.
none of them even try to be welcoming. They all have that look on their face like, oh my god. Like,
Yeah.
I,
Also,
I'm
I mean,
sure,
like, if they had, like, smiled, that would have been creepy, too.
yeah, while I was taking these notes, I was wondering how you even be a welcoming known sex offender. I'm not sure. I'm
That's
not sure what the answer is.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing where you definitely can't Google it.
And there's a lot of them, and I wonder how they felt. Like Paul was just like, "Yeah, we're gonna meet someone whose son was murdered by a probable sex offender," and they're all like, "Are you sure about this?"
Yeah, like, I'm sure it was, like, as awkward for them as it was for her. Not to, like, defend, like, their actions or anything, but it was weird. And I don't know why Paul and Maggie thought this would be, like, the best idea ever.
And there was another thing I couldn't help but think about, which is just because I doubt we'll see these people again. Maybe one of them, like one of them, will become like a named character. But can you imagine like that casting agency? We need some people to just be silent sex offenders. You have to show your face. You'll be called a sex offender, and then we'll never get to know your character.
Yeah.
So we're looking for beardy, old. Can you look really? Are you really good at looking sad?
Sad and suspicious.
Have you heard of Broadchurch? Why, yes. Well, okay, we have some parts. Oh, great. So, can you be sex offender 7? What? Yeah. Just some, yeah.
Terrible.
So, Tom Miller then goes to find Abby, and he's just like, "What up? I'm here to give evidence for my dad."
Bratty, misguided child.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're... I mean, I really don't think so, but do you think that they're going the Grace Point route?
Well,
I don't think so.
Without spoiling the ending of Grace Point,
Does anybody really care if we spoil the ending of Grace Point?
dear listener, skip forward 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
So, the particulars of what happens in Grace Point are what exactly? Do you know?
About the ending?
Mm-hmm.
I know that basically Joe confesses to having murdered Danny, and then it turns out in the end that it was actually Tom who murdered Danny, who was attempting to save Danny from Joe, like hits him over the head with like an oar or something accidentally, and he dies. But basically they decide to, kind of bury it and never bring it up.
So I have a strong suspicion that they're not. So I've read that before. I have a really strong suspicion they're not going to go that route, because I feel like none of that came from Chris Chibnall or like anybody who's involved with the Broadchurch. Like that felt entirely like the Grace Point staff feeling like we're.
Did he not write Grace Point?
I mean, I'm not sure. My gut feeling would be no, but
I think
I'm not
he
sure.
did.
Well, our 2 minutes are going to be up soon.
Okay.
But I'll just say this, that like
I hope they're not going that route, and I don't think that they are.
I think 100% they're not, because like they're different shows.
Yes, and because they also know that people will know what the ending of Grace Point is.
Yeah, and if anyone's watching Grace Point and then switches to Broadchurch for season 2, and then the endings change, and then they switch the ending again, like no, yeah, like Tom's evidence is going to be entirely based in character.
Yeah,
he's going to talk about how my dad couldn't have done this. My dad's a good person. My dad liked Danny. He hung out with the skateboarders, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'll probably throw Mark under the bus.
Oh, with the whole hanging out in the caravan thing.
I mean, it's the type of thing where if Sharon knew that, she would have a field day. Like, that would be Christmas for her.
I bet Sharon's about to know that.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to, Mark's going to have to defend hanging out with Tom in a caravan. That's
Yeah.
definitely.
And he's gonna have to do it on the stand where Beth has no idea.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I'm calling it right now. Like, season 6 is going to leave us feeling.
Season 6.
Sorry, episode 6 is gonna leave us feeling woozy. Like, we're gonna be like, oh my, like that did not go well.
Yeah. Yeah. Although maybe, I don't know, maybe that'll happen in the first half, which I don't think so, but we'll see.
So next, Jocelyn and Sharon finally explode on each other.
Yeah.
And it all starts with a good morning, and then just goes on from there. And Sharon's, this is what's happened to my son Jonah. Why wouldn't you defend him? And Jocelyn answers just so greatly, I didn't like you enough.
Yeah.
Which, oh my God, Charlotte Rampling just delivering that. Like, it was so good. Like, I was just like, she delivers totally how I think a lot of us feel about Sharon, which is just like,
I love Jocelyn. Like, I think she's been a really great addition to the show.
Yeah. Oh my God. And it's great because I've never seen her act in anything else but in Dexter, where she was a part of the worst season of Dexter.
I've never seen Dexter, so I have no preconceived notions.
Yeah. So she's talking about how, like, one of the reasons that stops her from taking the case is that even if she did take it, if she lost and Jonah went to jail, Sharon would always blame her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I see, like, both Jocelyn and Sharon have blamed their juniors for, like, screwing up from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jocelyn was upset they didn't know that Alec and Ellie went to the hotel. But the way Sharon blew up to Abby about Susan Wright being completely nuts, like, is a much bigger mistake. Like, how Sharon didn't know everything. Like, it was
right. Like, you called Susan Wright to the witness stand. Like, she's your responsibility.
Yeah. So, like, and like so like both of them are like insulting each other. Sharon mostly on like the "you're not a mother, how could you know? You're not even human," which we know that's not true.
Yes.
We know that Jocelyn has feelings.
Yes.
Because we've seen them in motion.
I can confirm.
And we can confirm that Sharon blames others for her mistakes. So it's just like this. Yeah, it's complicated because, like I said, like, it's kind of shades of gray. But I like Jocelyn. I don't like Sharon. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the whole reason Jonah exists might be just to have set this whole scene in motion.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I will say right now, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't seen the bonus scene, I would look up Broadchurch Series 2 bonus scene, and you find it pretty quickly. It's not hugely important, but it directly follows this argument scene. So go check that out. Okay, so what happens next is that Ellie suggests that Lisa's phone was lost in Portsmouth because she went to France where Lee Ashworth was hiding out after the Sandbrook thing. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. There was such a huge silence there. I was just like, well, I can kind of understand because Ellie's theory about Portsmouth and running away to France seems such a dead theory by the end of this episode.
Yeah. Well, all I can think about is the final scene.
Yeah, so
we'll get to.
Yeah, you know what? Let's not. I try to get to every scene, but I can't wait to talk about this last one because it's just kind of like Broadchurch going full throttle.
Yeah.
True Detective.
Yeah. Completely. Carcosa.
Okay. So, Alec and Ellie drive up on Thorpe Agri Services.
Mm-hmm. Which doesn't look suspicious at all, guys. No, not at all.
There's that giant statue, which the first time they went to Sandbrook, they drove past that statue, and my gut feeling was, that's ominous. Like, I felt like we're going to have to see that place again, but I had no idea it was going to be the Thorpe Agri Services. Mm-hmm. And when they open the place up, and Ellie just keeps talking about how it smells bad.
Yeah,
Yeah. I was convinced they're going to find Lisa Newberry's body just there on the floor.
Me too.
Which would have been... Yeah, okay. But there's a bad smell. There's blood on the ground. all that can be kind of, like explained away with how the whole place exists to kind of dispose of animals.
Mm-hmm.
But they find a furnace.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie opens the furnace. We get a camera shot from within the furnace.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alec asks if you really think Lisa Newberry is still alive.
Yes. And then it ends.
So,
Oh.
what do you think?
Oh, man. I feel like that was just a great scene. Like that was, like you said, it was so true detective. It was like, like
It
when
was dark.
yeah, it was dark. Like we're in Carcosa now, and just the way he says, do you really think she's still alive? Like, he's saying it to Ellie, but he's also saying it to the viewer. Like,
Yes.
Is this what you really thought? Because this is not what's going to happen. Like, kind of reminding us that, like, yeah, this is Broadchurch. Like, what you think is going to happen, not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good. It's really foreboding, really dark, and it really makes me excited to watch the rest of the show.
Me too.
It is like, that is a ramp up if there ever was one. The idea that someone has disposed of, cremated the body to hide evidence. It's freaky and like I might have used the word a lot, but like Sandbrook is way more screwed up and intense than Broadchurch ever was as a case. You know? Like, there's a lot more conspiracy going on, and there's a lot more just violence.
Yes.
I mean, Joe Miller has done a lot of stuff to hide himself and stuff like that. This takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, at its core, Sandbrook is, I mean, like, yeah, Joe Miller, like you said, did terrible, he's doing terrible things now by trying to cover it up, and he did a terrible thing by killing Danny, and, it's gross and weird. Sandbrook is so much more, I think, malicious at its core. Like, I mean, as messed up as Joe's actions were, I don't think that they were malicious. I mean, I think they were incredibly misguided and not at all excusable, but Sandbrook seems to have something really malicious at its core.
I can't wait to learn more, but I kind of used up all my ideas and theories last week, to be honest. Like, I don't know what to think anymore, because...
Same, yeah. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'd also reached that kind of feeling last series, because I think, is it episode 5 that ends with Jack Marshall's suicide? I'm pretty sure it is. And at that point I was kind of like, you know what, like, all bets are off, honestly. Like, I don't know where this is going, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I trust the show to do its best. I think it's doing fantastically. I don't think this is... And it's funny, I think I enjoyed more moment-to-moment stuff this week. I might have liked last episode a little bit more just because of the time we got to spend in Sandbrook.
Yeah.
But this was a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think I've been liking them more and more each week.
Yeah. I can't wait to, like, kind of binge all Broadchurch at once.
Yeah,
me too. I mean. Like,
we'll have to do that. Yeah,
because I wonder how the series feels when you go right from season 1 to season 2.
I mean, theoretically, it'll be 12 hours. We could do it. We could do a day-long Broadchurch bender.
No.
We could do it. Actually, I had a question for you.
Sure.
What do you think of the fact that Hardy did not pick up on the agricultural service thing in the original Sandbrook investigation? So I saw people like kind of making it like, how could he be stupid and not see that? Which, like, I guess it is stupid. But I think it's also kind of this idea that, like, as we know with Sandbrook, his DS was his wife, and obviously that was, an ill-fated marriage. And, like, not that I'm saying that Ellie is going to be his wife, because that's not what's going to happen. But I think it's showing the way that their partnership works so well, because she picks up on what he misses, and, I definitely do not think that they're headed for a romantic relationship, but the friendship that's developing between them, like, even when she says to Claire, there's no secrets between us, they have a very strong relationship.
Yeah, so part of it is we don't know how Tess was as a detective.
It's true.
And it might have taken Ellie's intensity to, like, pull out that file, because, like she says, all it is like a vehicle check, and I don't even know what the hell that means. Like a vehicle, like, check form or something.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Gary Thorpe, Lee Ashworth. All it can mean, like, it means something as simple as like an exchange of a vehicle, or they bought a vehicle together for, like, I don't know what it means, but I guess, I mean, like, Alec had possession of it. So, but the thing is, it's not like every theory that Ellie had, Alec wasn't ready for it. Like, when she brings up Lisa's phone last being used in Portsmouth, like, or triangulated there, he knew that, and they said it was a dead end. So there are obviously some parts where Alec thought they had their bases covered, but they didn't. And it's only, it's only been since 2012, so it's not like Alec, with an infinite amount of time, might have eventually looked up Thorpe, but he's so tired and beaten at times that it takes. I think it's entirely not. It's not Alec's mistake, but Ellie's intensity, which is why we've got this new evidence.
Right. I mean, and if you think about it, if the pendant hadn't been stolen, the case would have been wrapped up, and Lee Asher would have probably been arrested and put in jail, regardless of his innocence. So, he even says in series 1, the media and the town and the country became like obsessed with the case, and there was a lot of pressure to solve it. So I think that he put all his eggs in the Lee Ashworth basket and was just going with that.
Yeah, like you said, Lee is not completely innocent, but I feel like I don't know. It's in retrospect, but it's a really dumb thing to say. But like, I'm glad that the Stanbro case wasn't a failure that was wrapped up, and something that's allowed to be a big part of Series 2, because we're watching them follow a cold case, and they might be able to prove more people guilty than just Lee Ashworth. Yeah, and through their efforts, they might be able to put the people who are most guilty behind bars. So yeah. Yeah, anyways, I think that will do it for this episode of the Sea Brigade. I had a really good time watching and even taking the notes on this one. This is just a fun episode.
That is a good one. It's a very good one.
Yeah. And just trifling right now to find my thinking notes. You think you would... Oh, yeah, okay. No, I don't need my notes. I remember who to thank. Thank the fans for downloading the show and for trying to share it, even if to no avail. I thank Kevin MacLeod for Beach Party, and I thank Olfer Arnolds for So Close. You could follow us on Twitter, but it's a bad Twitter feed. So all I would consider is, downloading this podcast, watching Broadchurch, and I don't know. Do you have any suggestions?
I was gonna make a suggestion that didn't make any sense, but I'll make it anyway, because I was gonna say, like, just to let you know, the episode goes on iTunes before it's on YouTube, but, like, in order to find that out, you have to download the episode. So I guess for future reference, it comes on iTunes before YouTube.
Oh, I mean the episode of the Sea Brigade.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, because videos take so long to make. Yeah. All I'm doing is putting a picture and an audio file together, but I don't know why I'm producing videos in like in high res when it's just a picture, but I feel I'm pushing out videos and they take longer and it's just a hassle.
Yeah, right. Well, like, I noticed someone on the subreddit was like, you really should record these videos like sooner, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's totally true, and he or she was right. Like, we should do it sooner, but there's just no time.
Yeah, and like, even when we tried to scramble to do this a day earlier, it was like I was not just great.
Too tired. Yeah, sorry.
We're college students.
And I'm a teacher now, so.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's great. And
it is great. They're kind of hilarious.
Yeah, if you want a Broadchurch podcast done sooner and earlier, go make one yourselves.
No, don't do that. We have a monopoly. You idiot! Don't encourage them. Don't encourage the free market.
We'll split the fan base, all 120 of you.
Could you imagine if we had like a rival podcast?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of hysterical. Not that I want one. But...
No. Hey, come Series 3, if such a thing exists. Yeah. Such a thing might happen. Yeah. I'm honestly quite shocked that there isn't a dedicated Broadchurch podcast. But
Yeah, especially considering how like series one like had like a weekly whodunit, you know.
yeah,
Oh, maybe like because we'll have to see because it hasn't come to America yet, so maybe people like in America are waiting to watch it on BBC America and podcast it. But we've already staked our claim.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Maybe we should just pull a serial and like pretend that we're discussing a real case. But oh my god. But yeah, I don't know. That's it for the Sea Brigade. I appreciate the listeners. You're coming to the one and only Broadchurch podcast.
Holla.
So it's not like you have any other options.
Like you have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally tune in next week because this ride ain't stopping. It's only gonna get more exciting.
If it gets any bumpier, Hardy will die of a heart attack.
Aw. Yeah.
He's not going to.
No, he's not gonna die.
No, he's not gonna die. How could he die? He's stupid.
But, yeah, that's it for me. I'm Ken. I'm signing off for the Sea Brigade.
Bye.
So, bye, everyone.